I think this is the best Kia Niro you can buy, but I want to find out if it's worth spending more money than something like the Polestar 2. And so to explain myself, I want to walk you around the exterior features, the interior features, and take this thing for a drive to let you know if you should buy one of these. Let's get into it. Now, the Kia Niro Electric is priced from just over $70,000 before on-roads and incentives for this GT line model you see here. Now, the front light design, it's a very unique design. There's these clusters on either side, and you do have these cool daytime running lights, and you do have LED lights instead of halogens, which we saw on the base model Niro. Now, we have plenty of blocked out grills, but we do have some access to some air vents down below, which is useful because yes, EVs still need access to air vents. Now, charging doors just here at the front, it's manually operated, but I don't really like the placement. I do prefer it at the back towards the rear. That makes it easier to sort of pull up either parallel or reverse up to a charging port, where this means you sort of have to just park nose in all the time. But it is worth noting that Kia made use of the space underneath the bonnet here, which is awesome. So along the side, the Kia Niro Electric really isn't that different from the hybrid. There are some small differences, like some slightly bigger wheels. These are up from 16 inches to 17 inches, and they have a slightly different design. And then what I do like is the fact that this car has plastic instead of sort of that gloss black material, which means this shouldn't scratch or show fingerprints as much, which I really quite like. We also have keyless entry and exit, and our aero blade back here, yes, like I said, shown off in that nice gloss black metallic, and it looks so good. It's a aero blade because air passes through here and out the back to help with aerodynamics and efficiency, which I really like, and a very unique feature on a car like this. And then something I think is worth noting, I really don't like this extra piece of material that goes around the boot. It just looks a little ungainly, a little dated, but apart from that, yeah, it's a very clean exterior design. Now you get a power tailgate with the top end trim of the Niro Electric, which is quite useful. We have this very flimsy cargo cover, which I just hate, but we do have a nice sizable boot. It's very easy to get things in and out of. There's only a small boot lip. Now you can see under the boot floor here, we don't have a rear spare tire. Instead, we have a repair kit, which is a bit useless. What we do have is our vehicle to load chargers. So this thing, just like we've seen on some other EVs that we've tested here, product review cars, this goes into your charge port at the front, and then it gives you access to your car's battery via a traditional household plug. It just means that you get a power point on the outside of your car, which is very useful. So the new Kia Niro Electric has a far better interior than the previous generation. It's so much more interesting to look at. There's so much going on, and I really like it. Now, over the base trim of the Niro, this is so much more worth it to go upgrade to. Whether it's in the hybrid or the electric range, you should go from the S to the GT line, because you're getting all these small little creature comforts which add up to make this car so much easier to live with day to day. So we have things like an upgraded speaker system, we have heated cooled front seats, we have 2 electric seats up front, we also have a heads-up display, 2 10.25-inch displays which wrap around. We've also got a sunroof. Now I find it weird that Kia put this giant gloss black trim here on the door. It just shows a bunch of fingerprints and dust. Now the display in front of me is really easy to read. You can go through all your different sub-menus there, and also I do like how it changes its look depending on which drive mode you're in through this drive mode button here on the steering wheel. Now we also do have paddles on here as well to help with your adjustable regen. Now here the center 10.25-inch display is really easy to operate. It has these little EV menu in here as well, which gives you a bit more info about your car, and also has some smart connected features like what the weather's doing as well, which I find quite useful. Now backseat comfort isn't hugely impacted by the battery, but it is noticeable compared to the hybrid. My knees are sitting higher up in the back, and I have a little less feet room underneath the seat in front of me. We do have 2 USB ports still on these seats, which I like quite a lot. They're very similar to the design in the Kia EV6, which was a good part of them. And then strangely, the Kia Niro Electric gets 2 matte pockets, but for some reason the base model Kia Niro Hybrid S does not. It only gets 1, so that's a weird thing that's included back here. But also what's cool in here is that in the back, just like we saw in the EV6, we do get a little household plug in the rear. So the new Kia Niro Electric is quite an improvement over the previous generation. I found this to be very impressive to jump into, get started and get driving. It's a very relaxing driving experience, and it feels far more refined than the previous generation Niro Electric. It just feels like more R&D's gone into this car than the hybrid. I think the hybrid was sort of like, we have to make one, and this was, we want to make one. Now, it's front wheel drive only. There's an electric motor up the front, so yeah, it's a bit of a downside compared to the EV6 if you want a better driving experience. The front wheel drive motor really is more of a practical application than a fun to drive application. What's great is you have plenty of torque on board. You have over 400 kilometers of range per charge, and that's real world as well, which is great. Now driving, the smaller wheels do feel a little bit inadequate for the ride. Those bigger wheels on those EVs make them feel more planted, because this already feels very heavy, which feels like it's sucked down to the road, but then these small wheels don't really complement that driving experience. Now we're in eco mode driving right now, and the steering is nice and relaxed. I have a great visibility outside the car. We have blind spot monitoring. We also have a reversing camera. There's plenty here that makes this car very easy to live with. If we go into normal mode, we get a little bit more acceleration under our foot, you know, a bit more power. It's weird. I don't know why you'd be driving in normal mode, where I think eco and sport are fine options, because you want either the most amount of range or you want a quick driving experience. I'm not sure why you'd want in between. Then you can go into sport, and that really wakens this thing up. It's so exciting when it does this. When you're in sport, it really does start to move. So if we go along here and put our foot down, and jeez, yeah, this moves. And that's our lane keep assist telling us that we're on a skinny piece of road. But yeah, this is a quick car. And what I like is that it's a quick and efficient and also very nice to drive EV without sacrificing any practicalities. Now in sport, you do get a stiffer steering feel, so yeah, it feels a bit more engaging, but yes, like I mentioned, it's not super engaging like it was on the EV6. You still feel like you've got a higher center of gravity because this is a taller car. Now efficiency, I've been averaging around 16.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so it's not like an ultra efficient EV, but it is definitely up there. Now, should you buy one of these? Well, if you're looking for a safe play in the electric SUV segment, then yes, you should go and buy one of these, because it's Kia. They have a 7-year warranty. It's a very predictable driving experience. Now, if you're a bit more adventurous, then you could check out something like a Polestar 2 and a Tesla Model 3 for less money. Or if you want to go further down, you can check out something like the MG ZS EV or even the BYD Atto 3. There is more competition than ever for the new Niro. Thanks again for watching. My name's Cameron. I'll see you in the next one.